All my life I could feel an insistent gnawing in the back of my mind. It was a yearning, a thirst for discovery that could be neither numbed nor sated.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Darkest Dungeon. And I mean it this time. We got all 24 of the bosses down, everything's done, we got a full team, everything's upgraded. I don't give a shit about the inn or the cathedral. We are going to the Darkest Dungeon.
You're not even gonna fix the roof of the cathedral.
No.
After all this.
Hell no.
You're just gonna let the rain just soak that fucking place, huh?
Look, I don't give a shit about stress removal. Oh, by the way, if you saw the recap of episode 57, we actually reached a point where the crier is, occupied in spaces now.
Oh.
So yeah, like when you reach a certain point with the inn and Abbey upgrades, the crier just says, "I'm gonna lay down here for a while."
Well, that sounds fun.
So, the first mission. I know you've been actively telling me to do a shuffle party, Chitlin.
Uh-huh.
And I wanted to. But somewhere along the line, in my brain I was like, wait a minute, there's a lot of bleed there. I need a plague doctor.
You don't, though. You actually don't.
In a way, I really didn't, and that choice alone kind of fucked a lot of things up.
Yeah, there's not a lot of shuffling going on in this party, I see.
Well, technically there is with the Jester and the Crusader.
Yeah, you could get a Holy Lance off. You could also have a fucking grave robber and a fucking highwayman and have fun.
I know, like, I was debating the highwayman and the grave one.
You could throw away the occultist.
No, the occultist stays, because, this is a weird mistake that I made when I was playing, because whenever I play this game, I organize it explicitly by level. Now, because of that, I didn't realize I had 4 Vestals. I thought I only had 2 at the time, because I put one in stress removal, and it fucks off for every Darkest Dungeon mission, barring the last one. So I thought I only had 2 Vestals, period.
Well, I, for one, am shocked that you have 4 Vestals.
Yeah, I actually have 4 Vestals, so I could have brought one to here, but my thought was, I only have 3, 1 is gone, so I need to, like, ration this shit. But yeah, my original idea was Shuffle Party because of a circumstance within the dungeon. And then it kinda, like, spiraled into a weird logic of not becoming one. And then because of that, the Shuffle Party I did chose kinda sucks. Because the Jester does a boatload amount of damage. However, the Plague Doctor can't really operate in the position 2.
Oh, if you give the Plague Doctor her knife,
I do.
That would work.
Like I do,
Okay.
but the usual kit I give her, I think, you know the Toxic Blast that does the first 2 enemy rows?
Yeah,
That can't work in row 1 or 2. That can only work in row 3 or 4.
you're absolutely right. Yep.
And I usually have one of those 2 plague grenades equipped. And
Can't you use the Plague Doctor as a stunner
I do.
in row 2?
I can, yeah, with dizzying powder, and I really love that
Yeah.
skill. That skill's really good.
It's a pretty good skill.
I'm hard pressed to say it's better than the 2 back row stuns, mainly because I could stun and pull a guy forward. But it's situational. I'm more of a guy that likes to pull someone to the front and then just, you know, and then just like smack you face, but it's highly situational. Do you want multiple stuns or do you just want a critical stun and move? Also, I cut out sanitarium business because that shit's boring.
You don't say.
But yeah, this mission is called We Are the Flame. This is us scouting the Darkest Dungeon, and by doing so we get a unique accessory called the Talisman of the Flame that prevents a skill called Revelation. That's kinda weird, isn't it?
Nah, it's fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. But, here's the thing about the Darkest Dungeon that I never quite remember. A lot of shit in the provisions department is worthless. Keys, worthless. Shovels, worthless. Food, marginally worthless. Hunger procs are extremely rare in the Darkest Dungeon.
Yep.
However, I do, hold on.
Once again, the stars are right, and the manor sits at the very epicenter of cosmic unrest. Cultists rally to their twisted idols, and great gongs sound in anticipation of the coming sacrifices. Far below, life-laden shadows pulse to the unrelenting rhythm of a beating heart.
That shit's fucking ominous, dude. I believe I idle here for a second because you could hear the heart beating.
The blood of the fallen flows ever downward along these titan spires. The creature fattens itself on your failures.
So I did a little bit of research on that line after episode 30, and turns out I am marginally wrong.
Oh.
Technically, the death of every character does not buff enemies in the Darkest Dungeon on a Stygian mode, as it's called now. There's their HP and damage values are increased, but not because of deaths. It is in reference to the kill limit mode in Stygian mode.
Right.
The moment the 13th person in Stygian mode dies, game over. That's what that's referencing.
Which, I mean, doesn't seem like, you know, a lot to go through.
Yeah, you gotta fuck up really bad if you hit 13 deaths. Like, I was actively dicking around and I've only had 3 fatalities. So, remember when we had that weird video glitch? Like, way back in the day?
Vaguely, yeah.
I believe we're gonna see what actually happens.
Oh boy, I can't wait.
If I ever could actually fucking hit the thing. So, Darkest Dungeon? Super fucked up!
I kind of love every enemy here.
Yeah. Like, I remember when I first got to the Darkest Dungeon and I saw an attack called the Finger, I paused the game, went onto Twitter, and I just said, at Chris Barasa, yo, what the fuck at the Darkest Dungeon? And he replied, you're only on floor 1, aren't you? It gets worse. But yeah,
our good cultist friends are back.
Yeah, the party boys are back and the brawlers are back, but the brawlers are different too. Like, I love how they, you know, fuck with you with the first dungeon. Because it's technically a tutorial for the Darkest Dungeon, but it's also like, yeah, everything's normal, right? No, it's not. Red for the new god. Fuck. Oh, everything about the Darkest Dungeon is so cool.
I know. God, I just love the way this place looks.
So what?
They managed to create, like, a very, I guess, Judeo-Christian looking hellscape, but not being like Lake of Fire cliche, I guess.
Yeah, it's mainly blood and torment, which is kind of what hell's supposed to be, because in most, you know, Judeo-Christian things, hell is not a place of punishment for the sinners. It's a place of torture. It's not a place of evil and all that shit like most people depict. It is where people go that did bad things in life and now are being punished in the afterlife. Which is why you see dudes writhing in pain here in the background in a blood waterfall.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, that cultist looks pretty happy to be here.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive. As the fiend falls...
Sorry about that, LP cursing effect. Yeah, the cultists are definitely glad to be here. They're cultists. They're worshipping a new god. They even got a new technique for it.
Or is it merely a trick of the light?
Man, this place is so wicked. Now, the big thing about the Darkest Dungeon, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this back in episode 40, but it's been, what, we're at 18 episodes since then?
That was at least like 2 years ago,
I know, we're like, fucking Napoleon was still the leader of France when that episode happened. But yeah, everything about the Darkest Dungeon is fixed. That means maps and enemy layouts. If you know what you're doing, you can predict things. Which is why if you see me doing weird behaviors, like arbitrarily doing torches or putting on holy waters or healing wounds, is because I know a fight's gonna happen and I want to be ready for it. Because I don't like the Darkest Dungeon in terms of threat assessment. Well, threat management more than anything. The Darkest Dungeon is in a weird scale of difficulty. Like, it's harder than Veteran mode, but not exactly as stupid as Champion mode.
Well, the fact that it's mostly static means like the challenge is pretty consistent across all encounters. You're never gonna get like actually just straight up fucked by the RNG just picking, 4 fish stacks in a row or whatever.
Yeah, but there's also the fact that there's nothing that absolutely slobber knockers you. Like, you don't get hit with a tree for all your life. You don't get hit by a jig and take like 30 guaranteed stress damage. You don't get punched in the neck and take 50 guaranteed bleed damage. Nothing here is bullshit, but it is legitimately hard. Case in point, the cultists I find, like, they're not directly a threat, but they're really fucking annoying because they time their protections and heals so well that I would think the developers are actively playing against me. By the way, notice how that our Plague Doctor's already at 50 health. You notice how I brought the Ancestor's Lantern here for surprise?
That doesn't really help, does it?
No. Surprise doesn't happen here.
Yeah.
It's not like the...
That was a waste of a trinket.
Yeah. Like, I've only done the actual Darkest Dungeon once.
Same.
And because of that, in between what the fucking, what are we at? 57 episodes of roughly 30 minutes each? I don't even want to think about that. That's like, what, 20, 30 hours?
Yeah, something like that.
It's not easy to remember when you could only do this all once.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate... Yeah, here it is, the finger. Fuck! That move sucks. That move does like 6 bleed damage a turn. It's so awful.
That's not even as bad as a Nuka Crusher.
I know, but it's still bad because it's it's something they love to do. But yeah, my main issue here is I knew stress was also going to be a big thing here, so I brought the Jester along and the Crusader because, hey, stress management is really good in this place.
You know what's also good?
Shuffle Party.
Yeah.
You've been on my case for that for a while, and there's another dude in my Discord who's been like, where's the 4 dog stack, asshole?
You need to quad dog, you need to actually shuffle party. That, like, come on, man.
Fucking... I've recorded all this and I'm still not done with the LP? What is this bullshit?
You will never be free of this.
I will say, though, I do appreciate the developers, like... Oh, what's the term I'm looking for? Their commitment to making things seem normal in the first dungeon. Because you're just like, oh, cultist, what the fuck? Oh, a priest, I'm pretty sure is what the fuck? It's like a good introduction to, yeah, it's the Darkest Dungeon, it's the final level. Nothing is the same, dude.
You don't know a goddamn thing of what's happening here.
It is just so good.
Mm-hmm. I really fucking love this area. I kind of wish there was more Darkest Dungeon to go through. Like random kind of levels like we have with the other regions. But, I mean, I kind of get that they wanted to keep this area special.
Yeah. Though, I will say, Red Hook has finally made, an official announcement on several things about Crimson Court. Mm-hmm. Crimson Court will bring new enemies to every other region.
Oh, yeah.
B, it's going to have an entirely new region known as the Courtyard. And I'm guessing that's going to be the Victorian area. C, new player class.
I am interested in that, yeah.
D, new mini-boss, but we knew that.
Yeah. That was like the first thing they revealed.
Now here's
God, that skull is cool.
Yeah. It's barfing blood into a pool. Now this fight in particular sucks so much.
The way is lit.
It is the worst fight in this dungeon, in my opinion.
Require only the strength to follow it.
Because you know what this fight is? This fight is 3 priests in a row, which means 3 chances of getting fingered, which means there's a very high chance of taking 18 damage a turn.
probably rephrase that one.
No, I know what I said, Shilling. I'm committing to this.
Alright.
Now, there's a very weird thing. I was about to say something, but I would be outright wrong here. But there is a, for the most part, there is a focus of bleed damage in this dungeon. Enemies do bleed damage, but they are also highly susceptible to bleed damage. Except for this enemy, who is more resistant to it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think bleed damage has been a thing anywhere else, has it? No.
Yes.
Warren's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, get your bleed characters out here. They're gonna be very useful here.
Also, you know, the giant crab in the cove is kind of a bleed enemy.
Well, he was there just as, you know, like, you don't go to the cove and think, oh, I'm gonna bleed to death here. For the most part. This area, you're going to get bleed, because every fucking thing does bleed. And even if you have a plague doctor, bring bandages. Because in situations like this, where you're out of place and can't, you know, remedy yourself? Ugh. You know, I was sitting there because I have a 170% chance to stun with a cultist priest, and they have a 70% chance to resist. And I have not once landed a stun in this dungeon with a 70% chance.
You know, I was gonna say you're making really good use of the Holy Lance on that Crusader.
Quiet you. We will see it, don't worry.
Oh, I would hope so.
Also, you know how I said stress management is kind of important here? Every attack in the Darkest Dungeon, period, will do some modicum of stress damage. It'll be either very minute, like 5 to 6 from a basic attack, or it'll be extremely focused and do like 20 average. But you will be taking stress damage down here. There's no exception.
I mean, I would see it as a huge oversight if it didn't, honestly.
Yeah. Like, it's the most stressful thing in the area. It is the thing that drove your ancestor to suicide. It's gonna be stressful. But yeah, because of that, the Jester has kind of shot up even higher up on my chart of usefulness. Like, I know there are still people out there that for some irrational reason have this beef with the Jester. But when I could heal almost 20 stress damage in a place like the Darkest Dungeon where everything does stress damage, he becomes useful. Also, he could just straight up assassinate people, but for whatever reason, Vitate is very unlucky this run. Yeah, the big thing about this is that the challenge is fixed. You know you're gonna. Oh, also, damn it, Loon! I'm working so hard to kill these things, and you tell us to like hurry the fuck up. No, you can't say that shit here.
Seize this momentum.
Are there even reinforcements in the Darkest Dungeon?
Yes. They had to actively add that because when they released the Darkest Dungeon, people would sandbag specifically on the party boys in order to restore health and stress.
Yeah, that makes sense. That does seem like a smart thing to do.
So, I wanted to save my camp for just before the boss, but I absolutely cannot, because, I do not want anyone afflicted here.
But you could roll the bones.
I mean, I could, technically. Someone in the thread mentioned that Virtue Chance is flat value 25%. And,
It seems low in my experience.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the numbers myself, which is comprehensive help here. But anyways, the scroll I have bumps it up to 30, if that's the case. So that's a 1 in 3 chance, and, you know, I am lucky. I don't want to risk that chance, especially after dealing with the cannon. Because honestly, I feel like I blew my luck load there. Also, a skill I've never used, Unshakable Leader, that reduces stress damage by 25% for 4 fights. I never use it because, for the most part, stress has never been a thing. It would be good in the cove because of the squiffy ghast, but for the most part, you don't really take a lot of stress damage.
Star is born.
Kind of want to bang that gong in the background.
Mm-hmm. So remember how I said I don't like the party boys and they kind of frustrate me? This is one of those fights why. Not this fight specifically, but I do have a fond memory of trying to punch a party boy to death and then they bite themselves back up to full health.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Speaking of party boys, I believe every enemy here is Eldritch.
Yep.
And because of that,
Makes it a great place to bring in a cultist.
not only that, it's a great place to use that PS4 accessory, the Holy Cross.
Oh, yeah.
Because that 20% damage versus Eldritch becomes 50% extra damage to... Oh, 35 plus, I think the cross is 25, because I know the end result was 50% more damage. But yeah, them party boys, kind of frustrating. I don't know how biting your forearm results in healing other people, but whatever, I'm not going to question it. Logic doesn't exist in this dungeon.
Masterfully executed.
There's nothing to figure out. They're just the party boys. Just accept it. Move on.
I can't wait for Party Boys fan art. If I don't see any, I will be very disappointed. Luckily, these guys... I do like the cultists a lot because they have a guard skill, but it doesn't up their prot. Which means, A, I'm not wasting my time, B, it gives the idea that these are fanatical cultists. They will put their lives on the line recklessly in order to save their new gods. And that's really cool to, convey story elements via gameplay.
Also, they have gore dripping from their chins. It looks like a sick-ass beard, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, they also have eyeballs in their, what would you say, is that their liver or is that their kidney?
Liver, I think?
Yeah, I want to say liver. It's a little higher up, but I want to say liver.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's another theme in this area that you're going to see more of later. Eyeballs. Like, I'm probably going to ask this in the next episode, Chitlin, but what is it about eyeballs that are fucking freaky?
It's a lot of things, actually.
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the ancestor went down here and was very curious about this, because this place looks kind of metal. So coming up is a curio with a chest. I only know this because I kind of looked it up beforehand because my memory was foggy of the area. That's why I bought the key, but I'm gonna let y'all know right now you don't need keys here. Because much like
is that the special developer chest or whatever?
I don't know if it's a developer chest or not, but much like the Brigand Incursion, it is a Ancestors packet.
Yeah, I know in one of the Darkest Dungeon things, there's like a special secret pack you can find that has a note from the devs in it.
I did not know this!
Yeah.
I wish you told me this before I recorded all of the Darkest Dungeon in one sitting!
Well, why the fuck did you record late?
No! That would have been cool! Which one is it, Chillin'? Is it Dungeon 2 or 3?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Oh, shit. Okay, I'm gonna look this up, because so much regrets now.
It might be the last one for all I know.
Nah, it can't be the last one. That's an entire set piece.
Yeah.
See if I can find anything. Can't really find anything on the wiki at a glance, so I'll just wait for either the thread or YouTube comments to tell me how bad I fucked up by not finding it. Cause, just so you know, in all of the darkest dungeons, you have absolutely no reason to fully explore them, because there are no rewards, there's only one chest, and it's almost never worth it. So, what you're really doing is just trying to bull rush to the boss and finish it with the least amount of casualties. But had I known there was a super cool developer chest that had developer things, I would have looked for that! Damn it! I'm so sad now! By the way, interesting thing to note for, just in general my use with the Jesters in the Darkest Dungeon, I actually get rid of Battle Ballad completely. Not because of, solo being better, but because I needed a option for just consistent damage. And I didn't get rid of solo because I need something to just, you know, get to the front ASAP and get an execution off. So I still think Battle Ballad is a really good skill in general. I just don't have a use for it here because, I find being able to get a finale off ASAP is better.
As victories mount,
and I also want the Jester as an off attacker. Now typically you get an Ancestor's Trinket here, one of the many ones that you get in the dungeon. However, since I have all of them...
Yeah.
What the fuck ever.
Hey, that citrine. Pretty good.
Shit, I have $100,000 in our coffer right now.
Yeah, now you have 100,250.
By the way, that was a very obvious video edit there, so for you keen eyes that find any throughout the next few Darkest Dungeon videos, I get really nervous, and oftentimes I just straight up use the restroom in between recordings because I have a drink alongside me, and I just have to use the restroom really bad. Because I was super fucking nervous when I recorded these sessions.
So, Highwing almost pees himself during Darkest Dungeon recordings. It's good to know.
Basically. Like, I was pretty confident because I've done so much of everything else here. Since I've only done this once, I was not really confident on the way here. So the whole time I just had this thought of, something's gonna fuck up, something's gonna fuck up. I'm gonna have to do like 8 more recordings because something's gonna fuck up.
I mean, if you really were that nervous, you could have just made a backup of your save file in case you really fucked up.
But that would be cheating, Chitlin!
Yeah, but no one would actually know.
By the way, we have a new enemy here called the Malignant Growth. It sucks! Like, holy crap, this enemy is so mean. It has a stun that does 15 damage. Who has that? It also has another skill, which is just a wicked amount of damage and bleed damage because, hey, blood.
Yeah.
I don't like the Malignant Growth.
Precision and power.
It's almost like they designed this dungeon to be like a challenge or something.
I know, right? It's weird.
I don't like it.
What, are you quoting my book? My Darkest Dungeon Pro Strats book? Yeah, that 12 damage from Maul the Flesh is tame in comparison to what it usually does to me, which is like in the 20s.
I mean, right now I'm just trying to figure out what your Darkest Dungeon strategy guide would be called. How to beat the game without trying? The Filthy Leopard's Guide?
No, I'm trying to remember what Zap Brannigan's,
Oh, yeah,
yeah, I know, right? It's, damn it! Why don't we know this?
Highwing's Big Book of War?
Highwing's Big Book of Darkest Dungeon, yes.
There we go. Sure.
And I feel like it would look like a fucking 4th grader's coloring book or something. With like randomly sized letters, each with a pastel color scheme.
The ground
That
quakes.
sounds hideous.
Hey kids, welcome to Highway's Darkest Dungeon Guide. Oh god, that'd be terrible.
I mean, I did see something on Twitter not too long ago where someone suggested that Barasa should do a coloring book of Darkest Dungeon art.
Oh, that'd be awful.
Yeah, that'd be like, yeah.
Like, color in the creature that infests your mind and makes you go crazy.
A singular strike.
Speaking of Bo Rasa and art, he's doing promo art for Crimson Court, and one of them is a maskless Plague Doctor. And I had to ask, I was like, oh man, are we gonna see the Plague Doctor unmasked? And he answers 5 minutes later saying no with a smiley face. And I'm just like, ah! What is this?
I like how you had to check that you had Holy Lance equipped.
Well, yeah, because I know what's coming. But yeah, that last little bit of stretch here is 2 witches. And if you're wondering why I took the path I specifically took, is because in all the other paths they have 2 witches. This one's guaranteed, you're gonna be fighting this. I just didn't want to fight more of them. I have not once landed a stun, but now I remember why.
Oh.
No,
you
no.
didn't pick the stun trinket?
Yeah, I didn't take a stun trick, but it's still 70% chance to stun, and well, I have gotten 1 stun, but it's been on a cultist, so what does it fucking matter? But it's like a very low success rate for stuns in here. And I remember in the main Darkest Dungeon thread on SA in the Games Forum, they were talking about how, there's apparently 2 tiers of stuns in this game, but I don't think that's the case. Cause
2 tiers of stuns?
Yeah, in terms of like stun competency, because they listed Plague Doctor and Crusader as being quote unquote victims of power creep, where they only have at most a 140% chance to stun. But but when I think of the other ones, you have the Vestal who caps out at 140 as well. If the Abomination who also caps out at 140, but could also stun rank 3. What are the you have the Bounty Hunter. What are his values? Because I only know.
I do not remember the values enough to.
Because there are only 2 values I know of: 140% and the ridiculous one from the Dogman.
Yes, the Dogman.
Yeah, the
my favorite character.
The Houndmaster has at his core 165% chance to stun. It becomes 200 if you get any stun trinket on him.
Yeah, Houndmaster's good.
Bounty Hunter at max value, oh, his flashbang has 160. But enough about that. Here is why I brought Holy Lance, the Shuffling Horror. Can you tell why he's called the Shuffling Horror?
Well, it's probably not the way he moves.
No. Though I do like the redesign of the Shuffling Horror to where now he is also becoming a victim of the of whatever lies at the bottom of this manor.
Yeah, it's very clearly a shambler that's been further corrupted.
Yeah. So here's why he's called the Shuffling Horror. He screams at you and then you go all over the place. This is why I brought Holy Lance!
And this is why it's fucking great to bring a shuffle party to this dungeon.
Yeah, because you know you're gonna get shuffled here, so why resist? Of course, you also know you're gonna get bled out. Now, there is a way you can mitigate things here. Brain, work. Oh yeah, okay, so if you kill the priest, he will immediately respond with a summon like he would as a regular old shambler. However, the summon will either be a priest or a defensive
Party boy?
No, not a party boy.
Oh.
It is a defensive tumor, I think it's called.
Oh yeah, those fucking things.
Those have protection. Those have guard, and they get protection from it. But by doing so, you could reduce the fact of taking laceration from the boss, because his first action will always be restore the creep. His second action will always be undulation to shuffle you. If he's done all those, then he will lacerate. So if you know that if you want to try extending the fight further, you could take on the priest, but I don't see why you would do that. This boss isn't hard.
No, not really.
Like, if you just bull rush the shambler, you could do enough damage to keep up with things. However, I don't exactly have a real shuffle party, so I can't fully bull rush them.
No. Have you, ever considered using a cleansing crystal on your occultist?
Yeah, I know Jadestar brought it up a long time ago, but I never got one!
You never got a cleansing crystal, really?
No!
Devastating blow.
You know what else I haven't gotten? I haven't gotten, heavy boots.
Well, that wouldn't really help here.
I know it wouldn't, but it's just one of the things that I never got, and it's also one of the best accessories to use in general, in my opinion. Because, the only other two protection items that are worth their weight in gold are the Ancestor's Ring and, Barista's Head. Both of them have heavy stress damage,
Did you say Barista's Head?
Yeah, it's called Barista's Head.
It's Barristan. A barista is a person at Starbucks.
Oh, that's right, there's an N at the end of that. I always call it barista. Whatever. But yeah, the only good three protection trinkets in this game are Heavy Boots, Ancestor's Ring, and Baristan's Head. The latter two have stress damage, which you don't want here. So boots of the Heavy Boots, really good for being a green trinket.
I don't remember the Heavy Boots actually granting you protection, though.
It's 10% prot, 30% move resist, but -2 speed.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, the Shambler is a fight that could be really tricky if you don't prepare ahead of time, a shuffle party, and that's the only other time we're ever gonna see Holy Lance in this LP.
Great.
So, by beating the Shambler, you get a trinket. And you know how I mentioned I always get the fucking tentacle idol?
That overconfidence is a
Hooray.
and insidious killer.
God damn it!
Hey, that's 25% virtue chance, man.
I know, but I wanted
literally
anything else!
You could roll the bones.
I wanted literally anything else, Chitlin! I'm so sick of seeing that stupid statue! Like, I have killed a Shambler a grand total of 5 times in my 300 hours of Darkest Dungeon. You wanna know the trinkets I've gotten from him? 4 tentacle idols and the scroll in that bonus video. I have never seen the map or the candle, and they're both really good trinkets.
The map is so good.
You have merely glimpsed the edge of the abyss, but it is enough to trigger the cycle of revelation. Now, like me, you will begin to see things as they truly are.
Things are different in the Hamlet now. Like, I actively know what happens, and I try to show it off. But, things are fucking weird now.
There's an eclipse happening.
Also, we see a little visual anomalies. And this doesn't just extend to the map. Like, the only place you could force it is in the map. But even in town, the NPCs will flicker depending on what you do. Also, here's a thing that I tried to refrain from saying at the beginning of the video. People don't go back to the Darkest Dungeon.
Nope, they did their time. They got out on good behavior.
That shit's traumatizing to the point where they will not go back. Oh, Lash, you alright? Also, if you notice if you notice our unit counter, we're at 23 of 28. Anybody with a torch does not count towards your roster.
Oh. I don't remember that.
Another thing that I'm not 100% sure on for this, anyone with a torch that is on a regular mission will boost the rest of the team's EXP gain. So if you fuck up, you have a chance of recovering faster because you're getting faster EXP. This is me trying to force this situation, by the way. But yeah, remember how at the beginning how I said I thought I only had 2 Vestals available to me? This is why this is so important. I did not want to burn my, what I thought at the time, 3 Vestals. Which is why I went with an Occultist and a Plague Doctor.
What better
but you only have
than the
3 missions left, so...
Yeah, and I want a Vestal for each of them because I'm a giant baby!
I know you are. Believe me, I know. That was established long ago.
Battle, pious and unrelenting.
And since we're got slots, I'm filling up the roster, and I'm gonna try to get Quad Dog because people want Quad Dog, and I don't know why.
A bond
because it's really
forged
good.
by battle and bloodshed.
Okay, good, I actually edited. I was gonna say, I hope I edited what I think I did. So, welcome to the team. Ziegdame. I remember that being a weird typo I got. I was like, how the hell did I mix up L and Z? Our new occultist is Delirare. I remember him from the thread. You're finally in here, buddy. Here, have a lime green coat. And I think I actively forgot about the Houndmaster in this episode.
Good.
Because I remember on my little list of, you know, people volunteering for the roster, I had Plague Doctor, Vestal, and Occultist on the bottom. So I was just like, yeah, I'll roll those and I'll do the Houndmaster last, and then I just straight up forget about the Houndmaster.
Good.
Welcome to the team, Ash and Jack. I think I've used every different color. Oh, by the way, that reminds me. Crimson Court's also bringing in new costumes for each character.
Well, that's good.
So yeah, next time on Darkest Dungeon, the Darkest Dungeon mission, Lighting the Way, and that one's harsh.
It's a doozy, yeah.
See you folks next time.